Do you ever worry about making a mistake? Why do you think that is? See, we often fear making a mistake because we worry that others will think we're not good enough. Here's the truth. No one performs at their best if they're worried about making a mistake. And today I'm going to offer some leadership advice for when the fear of making a mistake emerges for yourself or someone on your team. Let's dive in. This is part 2 of a 4-part series I'm doing on how to overcome imposter syndrome. Last week I talked about the fear of not being good enough. Today I want to talk about the fear of making a mistake. See, imposter syndrome is a big topic, and the fear of making a mistake is one of those root causes that hold most people back. Do you ever worry about making a mistake? I don't know about you, but earlier in my career I did a lot. I wanted everything to be perfect. And in fact, the pursuit of being perfect often left me paralyzed. I would find myself second-guessing decisions and leaking energy as I worried about every little detail. Can you relate? See, the fear of making a mistake paralyzes a lot of leaders. They hesitate, they procrastinate, and as a result, they end up taking minimal action. Let me tell you, no one, and I mean no one, performs at their best if they're worried about making a mistake, you and me included. Leaders need to encourage themselves and their teams to take action. See, that is the essence of the freedom to experiment that I'm always talking about. It comes down to one thing: courage. Do you have the courage to act? See, I say that because an action of any kind produces a result. It doesn't matter if the action worked or not. What matters is that you took action. If you make a mistake, learn from it. Make adjustments and try again. Having the courage to act drives progress, and progress is what leaders care about. Here's the truth. Making a mistake is not the problem. It's what you do afterward that really counts. What do you do when you or someone on your team makes a mistake? See, some leaders react a lot. They beat themselves up and then they beat their team up. How effective do you think that reaction is in getting the desired results? Think about it for a second, right? Think about a leader that you've had and how they overreacted when you made a mistake. How did you feel? Now consider a leader you had who had your back when you made a mistake. How much did you learn from that? Here's my advice. Don't let the fear of what could happen make nothing happen. See, years ago, I had a sales kickoff meeting. Let me tell you a little story. And I gave each member of my team a brick. And I encouraged them to take that brick and go through it through the client's or prospect's window. I wanted them to break some glass, metaphorically speaking, right? I then held up a broom and a dustpan, and I told them that I would help them clean up the mess. Why did I do this? I wanted our team to have a growth mindset, right? I wanted them to realize that when you do anything of value, there will always be some broken glass along the way. Mistakes are stepping stones to expand your comfort zone. Making mistakes was inevitable to their growth, to our growth. And when I talk about this, perfectionists have a really difficult time, right? See, because they mistakenly believe that they should never screw up. And when they do, they beat themselves up. Expecting perfection and then punishing yourself and your team when things are imperfect is the best way to sabotage results. It does nothing but slow results down. Personally, I love mistakes. You may think I'm weird, right? But that tells me you did something. Making a mistake is better than doing nothing. As a leader, I can handle the mistakes my team makes. I turn them into teachable moments. What I can't tolerate, though, is indecision, procrastination, and doing nothing. I tell my team all the time that if you're not making mistakes, you're not taking enough action. If you're not taking enough action, why do I need you? I mean, that may sound harsh, but it's not. Every leader's job is to ensure their team makes consistent progress forward. Don't buy into the notion that you will take a giant leap forward if you spend all this time carefully mapping out every little detail. I know from personal experience that belief will paralyze you. By the time you design a perfect plan, others will have already taken that giant leap that you spent months mulling over. You will make mistakes. Your team will make mistakes. I will make my mistakes. My team will make mistakes. It's just a fact. Learn to trust your intuition. Teach your team to trust theirs. Lean on the existing knowledge that you've built up from solving problems and making decisions. You got to where you are by doing something right. You built this database of previous experiences, and I gotta bet a good portion of those experiences contain lessons learned from previous mistakes. That's called wisdom. How are you going to add to your database of knowledge? The answer is simple. By having the courage to act. You have to do something. And you have to experience some setbacks to learn what to do and what not to do. When I sense my team is hesitating or showing signs of being worried about making a mistake, I tell them, what's the worst thing that could happen? Seriously, what's the worst thing that could happen? Usually when we break that down, they realize the consequences are not as severe as what their monkey mind chatter is trying to convince them to believe. I challenge you to take the handcuffs off yourself and your team. Stop worrying about making a mistake and instead go make shit happen. If you want to elevate your leadership, go to clevelfreedom.com and book a call. I will give you the roadmap to champion growth for yourself, your team, and your business. I included a link in the description. If you and your team are still living in a world of endless limitations, let me at least buy you a copy of my book. All I ask is you pay for shipping. That book is called Freedom to Experiment, How to Ignite a New Level of Energy, Focus, Momentum in Yourself and Your Team. Follow the link in the description and I'll personally sign a copy for you. Okay, if you like what I shared today, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment below related to your business, and of course subscribe, because each week I'm sharing content to help you and your team embrace change, focus your efforts, and accelerate results. Remember this, you're just one idea away. We'll talk to you soon.